I'm excited to be here, and my heart is wide open to connect to you. How are you guys doing? Yes? Good? Okay. How many, we were talking a little bit before about when you think that your heart's open, and you really do think your heart's open, but you notice that you're not like being really present to people. Have any of you experienced that? Do you know what I'm talking about? Yeah. Okay. So this class was actually developed by me because I noticed that over time I started having interaction with people that wasn't really authentically me. And so if I was having that, I thought, well, there's probably other people in the world that are having that as well. To really close people in my life. And some, so it didn't matter whether it was really close people or it was, the cashier at the, your local store. It was a part of me that I was holding back. And I really didn't understand why, except when I started delving deeper into this subject, I realized that when I'd have interactions with others, that I didn't fully express myself in what I would call my truth because I was hurt. And I didn't deal with my hurt, so I started getting angry. And then I didn't deal with my anger, and I became numb. So when you're numb, most of the time you don't know what you're really feeling. You think you're fully functioning because it's less painful than being angry and hurt. Can you guys relate to that? Yeah? Okay. So what we do is we start functioning out of this place so well that we actually don't have any clue that we're not having heart connections with other people. This class was all about bringing that back out, allowing you to be your full expression of you without having those layers of incidences or occurrences or interactions that were shutting you down, even if you don't remember them shutting you down. Now, how do you remember them shutting? If it was something that Karen and I went through immediately, if Karen and I, before we started this class, if we had an interaction and we knew we had an interaction, it'd be pretty fresh for us, right? But what if Karen and I didn't have an interaction, but she walked in and I noticed, wow, I'm not fully available to her. My heart isn't completely open to her. I'm not being my true self. And I don't really remember why. And it might have been that we've had maybe 3 or 4 interactions that slowly I just stopped being myself. And I didn't notice that there was anything wrong because I was in a numb state. Most people that come to see me, even for a private session, they'll come to me, something's off, things aren't working, and almost always they're in their numb. And the reason why they're in their numb is because they know something's up, but they don't know exactly what it is. They just want to not hurt anymore, and they don't want to be angry any longer. So they think it's actually productive. How many of you are really clear, like, I just don't want to be hurt or angry anymore at whatever situation or person it is? Can you relate to that? Yeah? So numb sounds pretty damn good, right? Well, I can tell you that being numb means you're the farthest from the truth of who you truly are, your true expression. And it's not the way you want to live your life. So like I said, when I developed this course, it was because I noticed that that was happening over and over, that I'd have this kind of like reaction to certain situations or people, and I would think, why am I having that? And if I backtracked it, I would remember an incident that I had with them that didn't go so well, that I just buried. Okay? And after you bury it, you got one layer and then the next layer. Do you even know what's available in the relationship anymore? No, you don't, right? So you think that the relationship needs to be over, needs to be done. We need to do something different. Some of us let go of relationships, not because it's time to let go of them, but because we buried so many of our feelings that it's no longer available to be your true expression of you. And you agree with that? This course is going to take you through the process of finding out how do you respond in certain situations. How do you lose you? What brings you into your hurt? What brings you into your anger? And eventually drops you all the way into your numb. Okay? So, in doing that, we're going to learn some different, we're going to talk about some different skills that we can have in undoing this process of numbness. Okay? Some of you aren't all the way in your numb. Some of you are in your hurt. Some of you came in, you're just angry. Now, it could be at a situation, or it could be at a person, and it could be at many. So some people ask me, can you be in your truth maybe with Jennifer, and then if I look over here at Megan, I'm in my hurt, and I look at Heather, and I'm in my anger, you know, and over here I'm numb? Yes, you can. Because every interaction that you have is different. So if you have people in your life that they go, well, no, you know, Heather and I are great. And you have another person that talks about Heather, oh yeah, no, that, you know, I do not like her, it's not going well, I don't know what, you know, because they had something that triggered it and then never got cleared. So you guys know that, right? You've seen that. You've had people in situations that you understand people have different responses, but do we understand why some people seem to clear their stuff easily and others don't? Have you ever wondered why that is? They're willing to confront. They're willing to deal with their stuff. They're willing to take the steps that are needed to actually clear up the unresolved issues that they have with that particular situation or person. Okay? It doesn't mean it's easy. So this is going to be a very simple concept that I'm going to teach, but it doesn't mean it's an easy concept, and I'm aware of that. So I want you all to know that I don't take it lightly, that the concept is simple, but the process might be a little bit harder for you to have a willingness to do. If it's a relationship or a situation, and I'll show you some situations that are, obviously everything's a relationship, because I can have a relationship to, you know, the fan. I like it, it's nice and cool, it's not wobbling, it's perfect, you know, my relationship to it is good, right? It's an inanimate, I can't even say it. It's not a person, inanimate object, right? In that, I still have relationship to it and what it does for me. So I can either be in my truth about it, or I could be hurt like it's not working correctly. Or I could be pissed off and angry at it. Or I could be numb to it's even working. Do you see how it can happen to just something that's an object even? So it happens to even objects, but we're going to deal mostly with relationships because those are the things that impact us the most. Okay? Are you game? Yep. Okay, good. And we're going to find out. So I want you to kind of take note of where you feel like what was your emotions coming into this room? What were you feeling when you were coming into this room? Because those are going to play into us uncovering what we call your truth, your hurt, your anger, and your numb. And what we're going to, from now on, call it your then. So here's the question I ask you. When we left it with, is there a person or a situation or an environment? Did anything come to mind? Okay, most of you are nodding your head yes. When that's the one that I want you to kind of go through this next step in. And the reason for that is because if you don't have that kind of in mind, what's going to happen is you're going to have a hard time. Like, think about how you deal with that person, situation, environment in answering these questions. Okay? So we're going to have a few people that I'm going to interact with in going through the steps of this, okay? First thing is, to be in your truth, you have to know and then own who you are. By answering the following questions, you will begin to recognize your traits of then, truth, hurt, anger, and numb. Be completely honest with yourself. Now here's the thing. This is not a place that you don't want to be honest with yourself. This is not a place that you actually don't want to look at yourself, because it's going to be difficult to catch yourself later if you're not being completely honest. Like, you know, when you're actually that defensive jerk, and you know you are, and people have told you you are, and you keep denying that you are, this is the place where you want to answer defensive, because it's going to be the tool that helps you so much as we go through this process, okay? If, in fact, you're not being honest, I will make sure that you are. Because I'm intuitive, right? That's why you're taking this course with me, is that you want me to use my intuitive skills to help you move forward where you don't see it. Correct? Everybody agrees to that? So I might pull, at interacting with you, I might show you something that might get you a little hurt or a little angry, and then you might go numb. that's the way that this works because we want to see the responses that you have. So I'm purposefully doing that to you. Okay? So if you think, what a bitch, it's okay. That's a valid answer because I'm trying to trigger something in you so that we can see what you actually look like. Okay? You might already be in your numb, and I'm moving you back up to anger and moving you back into your hurt to get you into your truth. So we're going to see what stage you're in by answering some of these questions. Okay? The home audience is going to actually do this by looking at their issues as well. So everybody has to be honest with yourself at this time. Take away all the frosting over crap. Don't try to, be something you're not. Let's be completely genuinely honest with who you're being in the situation, with the person, situation or environment that we were talking about. Like, think of how you're being with them. Think of how they would see you. Okay? First question is, how do you act or respond when you are happy, parentheses, in alignment, what we call alignment here at the center? So how do I respond when I'm happy? Mine is direct. So have you noticed I've been very direct with you? Has anybody not noticed that? Okay, so I'm very direct. When I'm in my truth, that's how you're going to see me. Okay, I've been actually called or been accused of being too direct. And guess what that does to me? Or used to do to me? Hurts, right? It hurts me. So if I go into my hurt, then what starts occurring for me is I get kind of bored with the conversation. So my hurt is bored. I get bored. I'm like, okay, this is meaning nothing to me. And then if I don't deal with that, and I continue to interact with you, I become quite righteous, which is a beautiful state to see, which is my anger. Okay? And if I don't deal with that, my numb is aloof. Okay? So mine is, my truth is direct, my hurt is bored, my anger, look at you people that write it down. I'm going to catch which one she's in. My anger is righteous, and my numb is aloof. You should never see me in any of those, because if I'm in those, that means I'm actually not direct with you, and I'm not facilitating this workshop correctly. So you should never see me in any of those. Some people, fortunately or unfortunately, if I see you being righteous, or I seeing you being bored, or I see you being aloof, it's because I'm noticing that you're out of alignment and you're going to look like mine because I don't know what yours are. So that's another little tidbit we're going to talk about. So did you get that? So if I notice John's kind of bored, I'm going to go, it's going to be an indication for me that he's hurt some way. If I notice somebody being pretty righteous with me, now they're going to think I'm being righteous, by the way, just in case you hadn't figured this one out. Okay? That occurs, I know they're angry. Now, I will tell you that some people think my direct's a bitch, which is okay. I'm all right with that. Some people think my direct is righteous because they're angry at me. Do you get the difference? Only you're going to know. So this isn't about other people gauging what is correct for you. This is about you really being honest for you and processing it for yourself. Because it doesn't matter if somebody says to me, well, I don't think you're in your truth. Well, if I care about the relationship, I'm going to listen to that. And I'm going to check in. I'm going to say, what makes you think that? Let's talk this over. So if any of you got to the point where you were thinking that I was angry at you, I would be having dialogue with you till one or both of us agreed that I'm in. When I say one or both, obviously I'm facilitating this, so I'm going to have the final say, right? Okay? But in a relationship, we're going to learn how to do that to where you can come up with a resolution that fits both parties. Okay? Fair? Okay, good. So I want you to take a minute and write down a word or a couple words of how do you act or respond when you are happy. Now, do you notice mine was direct? I didn't say joyful. Mine is I respond very directly. It really makes me happy to be direct, and I like other people to be direct with me. Okay? So let me have some examples. Anybody, something come to them? Okay. Here we go. Yes, please. Yes, Mary?
I'm engaged.
I love that word. Perfect word for you. Now, do you see? First time here and first person out. Everybody else can do it. We won't compare anybody, Mary, but, we'll engage people in the process. So that's a perfect word for her, engaged. Yes. Antoinette? Oh, hold on.
Can it only be a singular word?
Yes.
Okay, peaceful.
Yes. Peaceful, I love it. Yes. Yeah, please keep it to one word because otherwise it gets too lengthy and then you won't remember it, which is the whole process of this, is I want it to be very simple. I told you this concept is a simple concept, but it's powerful. It is probably one of the most powerful things that we teach here at the center and that changes more people's lives than in daily interaction. I shouldn't say in anything we do, but in daily interaction. Really huge tool that everybody uses, okay? How can you heal a relationship without communicating? Anybody?
Sex.
Okay, give her the mic. Give her the mic. Yeah. All right, Dorothy, go ahead and stand up, honey. So let's just go there. So I believe you're right. But when you're in your truth sexually,
Well,
don't turn the mic off.
My truth is talkative.
Exactly. So I
There
can
I
only
am,
imagine what sex looks like with you, right? Is it a little talkative? Are you sure? Do they know how you feel about the situation? Are you a quiet sexual person? Let's see if she's going to be honest here. I can promise you I'm pretty direct.
Yeah, yeah.
Or I'm bored. Or I'm righteous, like, oh, you're serious.
Well,
We're going to do this.
I'm just
Or
thinking,
I'm aloof, like, whatever.
Here's
Do you hear
what's-
what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
You guys get that the sexual part. I love that you said that because it's how you respond. Look at Cindy's. Oh my God.
I can answer the question.
Okay.
So in my case, given the husband I have,
Yes.
who is the person I have sex with,
Yes.
it's a good way to resolve conflict.
Right.
Because he's really physical.
Yes.
So if I go to my talkative, verbally talkative, it doesn't always go
Right.
real well.
Yes.
But if I go to my physically demonstrative,
exactly.
kind of another.
Non-verbal talkative, because you have
Right.
to have talkative in a lot of different ways. Yes.
Exactly.
You're one of those you can
Exactly.
look across the room and you're.
Right.
Now that's talkative, right?
Right.
Okay.
So when I do my nonverbal talkative, we'll call it sex.
Yes.
With him, that definitely is one way to resolve conflict.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I promise you. So I love that she brought this up because think about it. This is how, and I'm being completely 100% true. I'm either direct, I'm bored with the whole thing, I'm quite righteous, like that ain't doing it, or it's I'm aloof, like whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. With my husband as well. So it's how you are always. It's how you interact, even during sex.
Yes.
Look at everybody's like, oh, now that changes the game. But I got to be honest with you, I've never really talked about that like that. It's the truth, though.
Well, but it's true because my hurt is judgmental. And
Yes.
I can do that during sex
Yes,
too.
I bet you can.
And my anger is attack.
Yes.
And I can do that
Yes,
too.
you can.
So I'd never thought of it that way.
And
And,
you're-
then my numb is aches and pains.
Okay.
And I can do
and
that
it's like,
too.
sorry, I'm not into it, right? Yeah. Or that's not quite doing it.
Headache.
Yeah, headache. Nice. So I'm glad you brought that up because do you get that this is, I mean, all the time. This is how you interact. And I'm not kidding. This is how you interact in this class. This is how you interact in sex. This is how you interact with your intimate, relationships. And this is how you interact with people you just met. Okay? Did you notice people that I had not met before or I hadn't seen in a while? Did I come up and directly shake your hand and welcome you to class? Yeah. Why is that? I know you're new to the class. So of course I'm going to introduce myself to you. That's a direct approach. Did you expect me to do that? Did you expect that, Mary? Did you like it? Okay, Kathy, did you like it? Did you like it? Lynn, you're not new to the class, so, I said hello to you, though, right? Okay,
yes,
I did. And Heather, did I? Yes. Did you like that?
Yes.
Okay, because, see, what's happening is I was in my truth. Now, what if I would have done it and I was bored to death? Well, hi, how you doing? I'm Lynn. This is what I'm supposed to do. They told me to do it. Would you know the difference?
Then I think you were a bitch.
Yeah, exactly. No, then you get all righteous on me. Yeah, then you'd be angry, so it'd push her into her anger, right?
Yeah.
So there's something about when you're in your truth, trust me, people understand it. They see it. They feel it. And when you're not, they also feel that. So what we're going to do is we're going to find out what your than is. I love that, Dorothy. We're going to find out what your than is, and we're going to see where you're at with it. Okay? So write down on your first one. Let's come up with some. Okay? Answer the first one. How do you act or respond when you are happy or in alignment? So Kaylee brought up a good point. Can you stand for me?
Yeah.
She said, I'm having a hard time because I think I'm so far in my numb I couldn't tell you what it looks like. And that is a true space to be in. Okay? Go to the one. So obviously, your second one is, what do you do or feel when you are hurt?
I usually cry. Like, I get really, like, I think it's the total victim role where I just, like,
Got it.
I know you have a word for it that we.
The
I
victim
can't-
status?
Yeah.
Poor me,
like,
woe is me?
Poor me, woe
Yeah.
is me. That's totally where I go.
Okay. So I have somebody that I know that their hurt is pathetic. She hates that her word is pathetic, but it is pathetic, and she's like, I am. You know, and when you get to that place where like, oh, you're so pathetic. I know, I'm hurt. You guys are not listening to me. You know, usually you project it out, but you know, we deal with it. So, because obviously, if you don't acknowledge where you're at, can you get out of it? No. So this is why I told you have to be honest here. So hold on to that one because that one's not quite it.
Okay.
How do you act or respond when you are angry? You notice that most people will say explosive, pissed, you know, they'll come up with what's a true angry word. Mine's righteous. So it's not like, you know, other people's attacking, other people's explosive is, what's yours? Judgmental. What's yours? Resentful. I mean, there's a lot of different words. It's not what you would normally think it is, okay? But it is definitely the one you go to every time, okay? And then the last one is, what traits do you see in others that bother you the most? That one you're going to come up really easily because she's in it. She said she's in her numb. So what traits do you see in others that bother you the most? Obviously for me, aloof people really piss me off.
I hate people who are indecisive.
Got it. I love that. So write down indecisive. Okay, so now from there, you should become more decisive. So
Right.
you notice that she even gets all glowy like you did with yours. It was quite nice. So when you kind of own where you're at with yours, now we're going to watch you kind of go up the ladder here. So we're going to put indecisive as your numb.
Okay.
Okay, excellent. Thanks for the question. How many of you just completely stuck? You have no idea what yours is. Okay, we have two over here. You're allowed to say, look at, okay. Are you Margot? Give her a mic. So Margot, this is how, when you throw your participants under the bus, that's where the bus finds you. So you want to stand
I'm
up,
helping
darling?
them.
You want to stand up?
Sure.
Okay. Now, I mean
They
this
don't
in the
fall
most
over.
wonderful way because I'm joking with her. Obviously, she is helping her participants because if you don't say they're actually stuck and they sit there the whole time doing this, I have no idea what this woman is saying. I am getting nothing out of class. That's what your coach is there for, to help you confront your stuff, in case you hadn't figured that out. So what's your numb?
Denial.
Okay. Now,
Do they look
I-
like they're a little bit in
I
denial?
think they're, why do you feel like they're in denial?
Well, because they haven't written a thing down.
Okay, got it. They've written nothing down.
Nothing. It's
They're
blank.
not dealing with anything. Okay.
Right. Well, you helped her with her numb, so she's good on that one.
Okay. All right. Good. And what is your anger?
Judgmental.
So, at what point did you guys just see it? She was in denial before she stood up. Right? Did you see it? Yes or no? Yes. It was quiet, but it was in denial. Then she stood up and the judgment started flowing nicely. Well, they neither one of them wrote it down. Well, we had Kaylee even get up and participate.
She did.
Yes, she did. Okay. And what did you think of that? Her participation? Did it work for you? Was it
Yes,
good?
that was good for her. I enjoyed that.
You did. Okay. And what's your hurt?
Disrespected.
Were you being disrespectful to Kaylee in her process in any way?
I don't feel that I was.
No, but she did participate, right?
Yes, she did.
So why did you think she was completely not in alignment at all?
Well, because she hasn't written anything else down.
So she wrote 2 or 1
One,
down.
yeah.
Yeah, and she wrote nothing else down.
Right.
So do you feel that, what part of Kaylee feels like she's being disrespected to you? I'm kind of playing with your words because it's disrespected, because you're really not disrespectful
Right.
normally, right?
Right.
So
No,
did
I'm
you
not.
feel in some way disrespected in the process here? Have you felt it at all? And me calling on you, anything at all here?
Well, you know, this is my first time coaching on Mondays, and I
Oh.
didn't know that we were being filmed.
Oh, here
So-
we go. Here we go. I knew that was in there somewhere. So see, what happens is she was probably in her truth. Then she finds this out, right? Which she immediately drops into disrespected. She still comes into class, right? Which, by the way, I didn't ask them if they were out because I expected them. I want them to be out. I need material here. You guys, you participants don't usually, and I told the coaches, we will be calling on you if participants aren't readily, when it's your first time doing this and you're on film and all that good stuff, you get a little like, and all of your truth, hurt, anger, numb, you don't usually stay in truth, by the way, in case you hadn't figured that out, okay? So coaches, actually, we're gonna kind of fill in. You guys have done a fabulous job, by the way.
I
And
love Dorothy's. That makes a lot of sense.
you like that, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. So just finding out that you're being filmed made you feel disrespected.
Apparently so. It was
Now,
like
here's-
everybody else got something on Thursday, and I'm thinking nobody told me.
In case you hadn't figured out, this is what hurt looks like for Dorothy, right? You can see it. Now, is it obvious to you? Was it obvious to to Margot? No, it wasn't obvious. Now, does that mean she doesn't know her stuff? No, it means she went into a hurt. So your coaches, by the way, they know the material. And guess what? They're going to go in there, truth, hurt, anger, or numb with you. They're going to do it. And they're being supported in moving forward with that. So this was a perfect example for her of what happened. So do you see that the situation, now she doesn't necessarily is upset with me, but she's upset with the situation, the center, whatever didn't inform her. Correct? Did you see
Yes.
that?
Yes, I see it.
Okay, good. Now, did you say anything?
No, because I just found out today.
Well, okay, but did you have did we interact in there before
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did, didn't we?
Well, I didn't really know it was bothering me at the time.
Okay. Now, by the way, in case you hadn't figured out, this is going to be you. And you really have to do it kind of an in-house check. Or you have to have somebody that's going to call you on your stuff. And she's so lucky to have somebody call her on her stuff. Now, how did I know to do that? Because she's sitting there and I'm thinking she's in denial of where she's at, which is why she was throwing them in. Okay? Would you guys have noticed that? Would you have noticed it? Or would you have thought something's off for her? Yeah. So you noticed there was something off, right? But you may not have known exactly what it is. Well, obviously, the intuitive part of me knows, like, there's something up with Margot. Let's find out where she's at. So she was all the way in her numb. And then she addressed it where they were. Now, I'm not saying that they're not, but I'm saying the fact that you even noticed it shows me that that's where you were at.
Exactly.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, what's your truth?
Sincere.
Okay, did you see the little sincerity in her face? Yes, exactly. Yes, she's getting there. You're getting there. Oh, there's a little bit of that disrespected. So I will personally apologize that you did not get informed.
Thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes.
It does. Okay. Now, what can we do to have you move completely into your truth?
I think I'm good.
You do. I don't
Yes.
feel it yet.
You don't feel it?
No.
Okay.
You guys agree? There's a little bit of something still there, right? What else is bothering you, Margot?
Well, I'm a little sad because I went through the whole year with the Thursday people.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I don't mind filling in
here
on
we look at-
Monday, but
here we go. She got moved to Mondays.
you know, we went through the whole year together, and
Uh-huh.
I'm just a little sad about
So
that.
she's normally a coach on Thursday nights. Now, here we go. Here we go. Because, Margot, you were asked specifically if you cared if they moved you to Mondays. You do know that, right?
Yes, and
Yes. And what was your answer?
I said I'm flexible and I'll do what's best for the center.
So you lied.
No, I didn't.
You said I'm flexible people, but I'm damn well going to go all the way to my numb by the time I help these people. So were you in denial by the time that you actually...
I must have been in denial by then, yes.
Yeah. So something happened for you that you didn't share. All you had to do was have a conversation that said, I got to tell you that I really am enjoying, going through my whole years of coaching with the same people, and now I'm going to have to move to a different night to coach. Which could have been a dialogue that you could have had that would have at least expressed her feeling disrespected, right? And because she didn't, you're a perfect example, by the way, so thank you so much.
You're welcome.
But because she didn't, where'd she drop to? Anger, which is?
Judgmental.
She just told you. Who's she judging here? The center, right? And the situation, because you never said anything. I know this because I know the conversation. I was part of the conversation. I didn't ask you to, but person in charge of the certification program did, right?
Exactly.
And you said, nope, it's okay. It can happen, no problem. So was she going through her so quickly that she didn't even realize she was in numb? And you were denying that it even bothered you. You're sitting in a seat, even in the class when it's been given to you many times, the situation to be able to deal with it. And she didn't even know it was happening. Did you know you were upset?
Not really.
Interesting. So if you're in denial, would you know you're upset?
No. Exactly.
Exactly, right?
Well,
so
I
you
figured
would.
there's a reason I'm supposed to be in this class.
Well, you
like
think?
maybe I need to work my van again.
In case you hadn't figured this out, you're in the right class because you're in this class. So I always tell people, look, if you didn't make it in the class, somehow something came up and you didn't make it, okay, you weren't supposed to be in the class. There is divine intervention here. Your inner guidance is guiding you somehow, whether or not you're acknowledging it or not. So if you're in this class, you're in the right class. If you're being filmed, you're being filmed for the right reason. Do you know what I mean? I don't know why it's this group, but it is. So I just have to trust that it's the right group that is going to be presenting this work to other people that can have great value that they wouldn't have normally gotten had somebody not been willing to open themselves up. And I can only trust that this is the right group. And that you are in this class shows me that you're not working your van very well.
I'm aware of it. I'm just not working it as well as I should, yes.
Got that. Ooh, there's judgment. We're moving up the ring here. We're moving. Okay, this is good. So that was a little judgmental. Could you hear it?
Yeah, I tend to judge myself more than others.
Okay. All right.
It's like, why am I not getting this? What am I doing wrong? I could be really hard on myself.
The best thing you can do for yourself is acknowledge where you're at. Do the internal investigation. Clearly Margot didn't do that. Like she went all the way to, I'm pissed off because I'm in this class, which she was judging, that she had to change. Then she went all the way to denial. Okay, fine, I'll show up. Now, just so you know, she's a great coach, by the way, so they're like, well, what'd you give me her for? Yeah. She's one of the most sincere people you'll ever meet, and you will love her, okay? But poor Lynn and Kaylee are like, what the hell? I got the broken one. Yeah. So yours will be broken next week. It's all fine. Here's the thing, though, you guys. If I promise you, we're going to go in and out of these. And knowing yourself so well is your, what's a word? What would you say? It's the gift.
Tools to use.
Well, yeah, knowing the tools to use, but it's the gift. It's the gift of knowing, like, if I know I'm in aloof, what would be the point of me interacting with anybody? So usually, by the way, just so you know, because this is how I'm in aloof, right? And I'm like, and then I usually go to righteous, which is, well, I have a right to be aloof. No. And then I start going, oh, you're sounding a little righteous. So it's a good thing because I'm moving up. Then I get a little bored by, well, see, they're boring anyway. What's the point? I've even working this stuff with them, and then pretty soon I'm in my direct, and it's all good. We're going to work a lot on how do you move into those? How do you get out of the one that you're in? Some of you are going to be so stuck in one that it's going to be like trying to get you out of it. Okay? And some of you, you're going to go boom, but you'll see them walk out. You'll see her move into it like in a second. And other times, we don't want to. We're more invested in being angry. We're more invested in, forget it, this relationship's a numbing anyway, who cares? Or, I'm hurt, I want to be hurt, I don't want to be anything but hurt. Do you get what I'm saying? When you get to the place where you understand yourself in those, that's where your power is. That's where you can be empowering for yourself and others. Okay? Until then, it takes away, it dissipates your energy. So some of you are so you feel justified, that's not quite your word, but you feel justified in staying in that particular place with that particular situation or person. You know which one, you know where that's at, right? You know the person or the situation that you don't want to get out of. You know, like, I'm hurt and I don't care. Yeah. You know, I'm going to stay there. Well, you're hurting you. And that's why we started this class in the first place, because I realized we're hurting ourselves. I can guarantee you, you are going to have conversations, you're going to try to clear things up, and some people are not going to go there. But as long as you do, it doesn't matter if they do. It will not make a bit of difference if you express yourself, if you get yourself back into your truth. It won't matter if they're there or not. Okay? So I want you to be really clear about something. I am not telling you that you are going to, with Margot and I sincerely apologize. I'm sorry that that message did not get to you. So she had somebody that was willing to engage with her, right? And she's not going to have that with everybody. But as long as she gives her sincere feelings about something, she'll feel good. She could have been sincere about, you know what? I really don't want you to change me. I absolutely want to stay in my Thursday class because I'm loving that I'm going with the same coaches. I'm enjoying that time with them. And if you have to, you have to. But I've at least shared my sincere feelings with you. She wouldn't have been pissed off. She wouldn't have gotten hurt and angry and numb. Because if it happened, she would have at least been it. But she never did. You never said anything, did you?
No.
I'm flexible. That's what we got. I'm flexible. We're like, well, all right.
That's my pattern.
Yes.
Not speaking
Did you hear
up.
it? That's my pattern. So you have a pattern. So you maybe just came tonight because, you know, you were supposed to bring us into our patterns. Every one of you has a pattern that you keep playing over and over and over. And every time it keeps you stuck in that one, you know, whichever one you get stuck in. Usually you'll go, that person, I'm in my hurt all the time. This person, I'm always in my anger. This person, I'm in my numb. And some people, you're like, I'm always in my truth. Okay? So, Margot, expressing your sincerity is not a pattern that you've gotten used to.
No.
I request that you go tell the person that actually moved you to Monday nights and
Okay.
tell her, own your stuff.
Okay, I will do that.
Please go
Right
do
now?
that.
Okay,
Thank you.
I can do that.
So you can either like this program or you cannot, but we actually require you, especially if you're a coach, intern, consultant, we require you to own your stuff. So she's going to go to that person and tell them that she was not sincere about her feelings. Okay? It will click, you'll watch, she'll be different for her. Okay? Won't matter. Now I happen to know the person she's going to talk to, which is going to probably judge her and do all, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding, they won't. But, you know, she'll get the response that she's looking for. But not all of you are going to. So I don't want you to I don't want to set you up to think that you're going to. All we're working on is us. Margot, stand up. So this happened to be the person that moved her.
We had our clearing
Yeah.
conversation.
Now put it to the both of you. So look at
Okay.
Margot. Does she look sincere now?
Yes.
Isn't she cute? So you had your clearing conversation,
did.
and how do you feel?
I feel very good about
You do.
saying something, yes.
Okay. Now, did you make a commitment to Lisa that you're going to always honor your sincerity in
Yes.
relationship with her?
Yes, I
So does
did.
she have your permission to actually call you on it when
Oh,
she doesn't
yes.
think you're being?
even if she didn't have it, she'd do it anyway.
She's in my coaching
Because-
program.
Yes,
Yeah,
because
it's-
Lisa's truth is forthright. Do you see that? So Lisa was being very forthright. So did it ever bother you that she was upset?
No, I kept asking, are you sure it was okay? Are you, right? I mean, when I asked her,
because
can you
Lisa
do it?
was
Are
in
you
her
sure?
forthright, and nothing was showing
And-
up for her. But she knew
right.
something was showing up for her. That something's like she's kind of
Right.
glazing over. So she kept asking, "You sure? Are you sure? Well, can
And
you
I only
make
asked
somebody?"
so many times, and then it's on you.
There you go. Because she's forthright.
Right.
You know, a forthright person isn't going to nag you. They're forthright. They're going to ask you a few times, and then they're done. Did it affect her? Lisa? No. Did it affect Margot? Yes, because she had dropped. Did Lisa know she dropped? Yeah. Did she try to do everything she could to get her out of it? Absolutely. But it didn't change the way Lisa was being. So this is a great example of somebody owning their stuff, her knowing something's off for her, but I've asked her a few times, and again, wouldn't that be a forthright person? They're not going to keep nagging you. Okay? Now, if Lisa would have went into her hurt, which is
Defensive.
it would have looked like, I know there's something going on for you. Why aren't you telling me what's going on? Right? Now, she didn't do that, did she? She just held forthright, knowing something's going on, and Margot wasn't going to share it. So that's what it looks like. One's holding it, knowing something's up. The other one's dropped. Okay? It affects the person that drops, period. So if you drop into your heart, it'll affect you. Look at them, they're so cute, the sincerity there. Okay? And until the person rises to that truth, you're not going to have a heartfelt connection. She's probably having issues with Lisa, and not having issues, but allowing that situation that Lisa has to trigger her. And unless she would have been straight up with it, now they don't have that same heartfelt, there's something between them. Lisa knew there was, couldn't do anything about it. Because if you're unwilling to do it, you can't change it. But again, it didn't affect her. Okay? Thank you for the example, ladies.
Absolutely.
Nicely done.